guys, it is Lynn again with Littlefoot Nursery. I am back. I wanted to actually continue the chat a bit from my last video. I have a doll that's not related at all to that topic, but this is my Ella sculpt by Jennie Lee. She's a full body silicone baby girl, and her name is Mia. So I wanted to just show her to you guys. She's wearing a really cute Ralph Lauren sleeper, and I'm going to change her into one of her beautiful knits that Jennie gave me. I know she's worn this before, but I just want to put her back in it again because I like it so much. It's so beautiful. So, yeah, I wanted to just continue that chat because, and I am filming this a few days later from when I filmed my last video, just because there have been just a couple of updates. And for those of you guys who missed my last video, definitely go check it out. But basically what had happened was a well-known artist had posted on her Facebook page a post. It was basically a bit of a rant about I think just frustration over, some of the scamming that's happening in the doll community, which I know is something that none of us are in favor of. But there are situations of people who are, I guess, not really kind of taking the art form seriously, but are kind of selling dolls and scamming people. And like basically it's like the classic Etsy post where the artist posts prototype pictures from a different artist, and then the customer orders thinking they're going to get a baby that looks like that artist's doll, and then it's a total bait and switch, and they get just a really not nicely done Reborn. So that is scamming, and I completely agree that is just not that's just not okay. So what ended up happening was she posted a couple of photos of of a couple of dolls that she had seen on different message boards that she felt were poorly done. And I think what ended up happening was the post kind of spiraled into, people just posting pictures of other dolls that they thought were horrible or that they did not like. And so, and in the crosshairs of that, one of my Avery, who was the very first doll I ever painted, and she was not well done. Okay, I totally admit that. But it was my very first attempt, and so she got posted, and then in one of the comments by another artist, and it was just awful, you guys. And there were so many posts, but I think that posting those pictures basically started like kind of an avalanche effect where everybody started posting pictures. People were posting really negative and rude comments in response to those photos, and it was just really disheartening. And I think you guys probably felt my embarrassment in my last video that they would take the very first doll I had painted and post it. By the way, does Mia not look so cute in this? I love these knits. I'm gonna be looking for these at the doll show. Oh my gosh, I love this baby. I mean, with the excitement of Evelyn, my Emerson, coming home, it's kind of normal to play with your new baby, a bit more, but just picking her up again, I'm reminded like how much I love this baby. I'm so happy I have her. Okay, so back to my story. But yeah, basically the comment thread, I mean, there were like hundreds of comments. It got really crazy, and I decided, I think I decided to speak up and basically say, hey, you know what? This is my doll that I painted. And it was like so terrifying because people were being so derogatory and so negative on so many of the photos. What I have an issue with is that the original photos that were posted, and the person who posted it, she did later admit that she didn't really do the due diligence on whether these particular photos belonged to somebody who was scamming others. These photos were taken, I think, from a forum where the person was asking for help and suggestions, okay, on their work. And there was definitely a lot of room for improvement, with those couple dolls, and I get it. Like, this particular person felt like she had invested a lot of time helping people and she was just like really frustrated. So, but I think that, my constructive criticism, and I expressed this on the thread, was, look, it's okay to be frustrated. That is fine. And it's okay to vent your feelings on your Facebook page if you want to do that. But, I think it's not, I think it's wrong to drag in, innocent people's photos. If you don't know for sure, if you know those photos belong to a scammer, absolutely post them, call out the scammer by name so that people in the doll community can be aware and not buy from that person, because scamming is wrong, period. So I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But these photos were taken just from, other forums, people who were posting them. I just thought it was not cool to post them and then have people comment and basically publicly humiliate those artists. And, you know, and and it's not like I have to put myself in their shoes, because I literally am in those shoes, because one of my photos was taken completely out of context. It was posted in the beginning. There was like a thread about beginners, in the Bountiful Baby forum, where we were all just posting pictures of the first baby we had painted. So that's how Avery's photo ended up in there. And I thought it was a safe place to post it. And yeah, when I painted Avery, I was really embarrassed because she she has she's a hot mess. Like, she has like all these colors, and I just went way too heavy on the color. Like, I was trying to do undertones. I was trying to follow this tutorial, and like not doing a very good job of it, obviously. And then partway through I was like, okay, this baby's totally messed up. Maybe I should just throw it out. But I thought, you know what? I've already started. Let me finish the baby out. And given that, I can use this as practice, right? So I finished the baby, I painted her, I even rooted some hair on top, like more Combie style, like just a combination, just a little bit of rooted hair on the top, just to experiment with that technique, because I figured, the baby was already pretty trashed by then anyway. So, I posted it on that forum for people posting their first babies. And look, I don't have any illusions. I know that the baby wasn't good. But to see it like posted on that forum, it was such an awful feeling. And I had made the last video on the day that I'd seen it posted, and I kind of was like, okay, like I felt embarrassed, and I was like, okay, well, I need to make a video and just kind of explain and talk about it a little bit. But I thought about it more, and I was like, you know what? I'm not the one who should be embarrassed here. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, it was my very first attempt. And, yes, people were making fun of her and making fun of other people's dolls too. I just felt like it was so wrong. So yeah, and I was like, kind of going through the weekend, like trying to hold back the tears, trying not to get emotional. But, it was hard. Like, I think by that evening, and I was exchanging messages with one of my friends on Facebook. She was just trying to be encouraging, and it was really, really sweet of her. But I was like breaking down in tears. I was like really having a hard time with it. So I decided to post something on Facebook. And Audrey noticed I was upset too. And she was like, "Mommy, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And so I explained to her that, there were some people that were not very nice, who said that Avery, and Avery is one of her dolls, that Avery was ugly, that they didn't think she was, and I guess somebody didn't say that in so many words, but basically that was what was implied by the person who posted her photo. She was like, well, she's like, not my work, but an example of terrible work, or something like that, like was her exact posting. It was awful. So I told this to Audrey, and Audrey just said, why would somebody say that? That's so mean. I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. And she basically said, well, Mommy, I think Avery's beautiful, and she's my rainbow baby, and I love her, or something to that effect. And that was so sweet. And, sometimes we just need to, like, take our cue from kids, honestly. Like, even though that doll was not perfect, like, she loves her. Like, and that really just meant a lot to me. So in her eyes, it was beautiful. And you know what? This is art. Like, you may think a doll is ugly, but somebody else may think that doll is beautiful. And it's not for you or I or anybody else to judge. I can, are there some dolls where we could say, like, more objectively speaking, that more people are going to find beautiful versus not? Yeah, you probably could take a reasonable guess, right, of which dolls people will like or not. But, but I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder at the end of the day. And I just thought, I was thinking about it more, and I was just like, yeah, it's just so wrong to post someone else's work and laugh at it or poke fun at it or degrade another artist's work. It's just not the right thing to do. Like, this is already a hobby where that is countercultural. Most people, even though, it feels like a lot more people know about reborns, it is still a very small percentage of the population. So, in a way, all of us who are in the hobby, we're ambassadors for this hobby, and we're representing this hobby to people who are not part of it today. And I don't know, if today I was a brand new collector or just learning about the hobby and seeing all this crazy negativity in the hobby, it would really be off-putting. Like, or, you would just want to collect in private and not participate in the doll community. That's honestly what I did for the first 9 years of my collecting. Like, even when I had, my Audrey's portrait sculpts made, I had these gorgeous silicone babies, never, talked about it with anyone, never was part of the doll community. And I made that decision a couple years ago to, sort of, I guess, come out of the dolly closet and, like, join this community on YouTube and be on Facebook and go to doll shows and just really embrace and be a part of this community. But for someone new, who's thinking about it, it can be a really negative place. And so I totally understand why some people are, like, shying away from social media now, because you do open yourself up to all the craziness that's out there. So anyway, the original poster did apologize to me that my doll photo got posted completely out of context, because it was kind of a vent and rant about her post was really about the people who scam others or just put out poor quality work and really, don't even try. It's don't even try to improve or try to get better. But guys, at the end of the day, though, too, like, I think if they're scamming people, that's one thing. But if they're just content to stay at their level, and if there's somebody out there who likes their work and is willing to pay the agreed upon price point between buyer and seller, and that buyer is happy with that baby and the seller is happy to keep painting, even if they're not aspiring to be a prototype artist or they don't have the talent, that's okay. It's not for any of us to judge at the end of the day, who can be a part of the art form. There was also a post on my post from somebody basically saying, like, look, not directed to me specifically. She did clarify that, but she said, that her opinion is that if you've been painting for 2 years and you haven't improved in 2 years, then you should just hang up your paintbrushes and stop painting. And I disagree with that strongly, because, look, we all have different reasons we paint. Like, some of us are doing this full-time professionally, and some of us, like myself, like, I have a full-time job. This is purely a hobby. My dolls are my happy place, purely a hobby. I enjoy painting because I think it's therapeutic. It's so rewarding to create a baby start to finish. It's a lot of fun, and I do want to keep getting better and better, but I also, acknowledge I have, sort of limited hours in my day, right, to devote to that. So I need to kind of pace myself there. And, I think there are others that may be painting as well. And, they just enjoy painting, and maybe their dolls are not, are still kind of really at that beginner level, and they've been doing it a long time. But maybe they're just content to sell the baby at cost, the cost of their materials and supplies, let's say $100 or $150, which, is, that's going to just barely pay for the materials. And then the buyer's happy because they're able to pick up a doll at a bargain. And the seller is happy too, because they can keep painting. Because I think, one of the things that's tough about this hobby is it is incredibly expensive. Kits, Bountiful baby kits are the cheapest way to start. And, if you get lucky and find one on sale, you can get a kit for, $20 or $30, but then you also have to buy the body and the other supplies. So the supplies really at the very cheapest will probably run you 50, $50 or so, and that's without even buying any clothing or anything to send home with the baby. So it's so really it is an expensive hobby, and if we kept all the babies or didn't sell any babies until until we felt like our work was good enough, or at a more advanced level, man, that would be a lot of babies lying around, a lot of works in progress. So, and sometimes that's just not realistic that somebody has, hundreds and hundreds of dollars tied up in dolls that are just sitting around. So some artists will choose, hey, you know what? I'm going to sell this baby super cheap, just try to recoup back some of my cost so I can keep painting and keep doing what I'm enjoying and what I love. So I don't think it's for any of us to judge, how, I do very strongly feel that it's very, very important that artists advertise their work with pictures of their own work. And you guys can imagine being on YouTube. I have some awesome babies, both reborns and silicones, and I also paint too. So sometimes I get inquiries from people wanting to do a custom order, or they'll notice that a baby on my channel is really beautiful and they're wondering if I made that baby. And I'm always very, very clear that no, this baby was done by so and so. If you like their work, please, go and purchase from them, and I'll send them a link to my Facebook page so that they can take a look at photo albums of my work. So I think that's just really, really important. So your buyer knows what they're getting, even if your baby isn't perfect, even if it's not prototype quality. So yeah, so that's most of what I wanted to share. It was a really, really hard, kind of couple days, just really emotional. And I was just feeling discouraged, because it was like there's so much negativity on that thread. There were a lot of people posting photos of babies that they had done, obviously very proud of their work and saying like, well, my work, and it, again, this probably wasn't the intention of people who were posting, but sitting in the seat of someone whose photo was posted and kind of shamed, like it came across a little bit as, hey, look at how great my baby is, compared to the terrible examples that were shown, and it didn't make the situation any better in my opinion. So I don't know, I just yeah, and the original poster offered to take the photo of Avery down, and I kind of felt like, well, I don't feel like I should get any special treatment there. I feel like you should really go through and delete all the photos out, just to be fair. So I just told her, what, at this point it's already out there. I think people are starting to move on anyway, but so anyhow, I don't know if I'm starting to ramble now, but I just wanted to thank everybody who reached out to me and who offered support and just kind words and encouraging words, and I really, really, truly appreciate it, just from the bottom of my heart. It was not an easy thing to go through. I was so embarrassed. I felt humiliated. That was the emotion I felt, and it was really tough because, like, I know I have a long way to go, in the art form, but I'm trying, and I want to try some new techniques and things like that. And there's one lady who commented on my Facebook that she is going to be offering some comprehensive classes, and she'd like to offer those to me for free, which is like amazing. Like, I was so floored by that. Like, it just, yeah, just, and it just really made me realize that, there are some really negative and awful people out there, but there are also some really kind and awesome, good human beings out there as well, who are just incredibly nice. And the doll community is full of really awesome, kind people, I think, for the most part. So yeah, so I would just encourage everybody, just think before you say something that's negative. Like, think about, are you going to lift this person up, or are you bringing them down? And if you're thinking a negative thought, just keep it to yourself. Like, there's no need to type it out. Like, what good does it do? Seriously, like, what good does it do? So, yeah, and just try to put yourself in that person's shoes and how it might make that person feel. So, Anyway, that's all I have to say. I will get off my soapbox now. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the back of this really beautiful romper. It's so cute, so pretty. And I need to comb this girl's hair. I'm sure all the artists like cringe because I'm like the worst at the hair upkeep. This is probably why like I also enjoy painted hair on some of my babies because the hair always looks perfect. Like I don't have to mess with it. So, but I love the realism of rooted hair, and when it's done well, it's just amazing. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate all of you guys. Love you guys, and have a wonderful day, and try to just be kind to each other. And we will see you on the next video. Bye.